A lot of stuff going on there, and it's pretty confusing in terms of which form belongs to what. But this is the stage that you want to get to. And now the next stage is going to be relatively straightforward. What we want to do is identify ground zero. We want to identify the groups that are not going to move. So I'm going to press Control Shift, click and drag. Oops. Make sure that you've come into the brush palette and you've select rectangle, let's say. You have to basically get out of the slice curve for this next step. Okay, so Control Shift, click and drag, and then Control Shift and click on all the vertices or all the points that aren't going to move. So that's going to be this one, this piece, and also this piece. You could also, yeah, let's mask. Well, no, I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, these are all parts that are not going to move. Let's get the interior pieces as well. And then come into the tool palette, and I'm going to go Polygroup, Group Visible. Okay, it just makes it easier to select. Let's say tile selected. Okay. Alright, so we've identified ground zero. That's going to be the surface I'm marking with 1. It doesn't move. It's basically the same surface all the way around. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is identify those areas that all go out to equal levels. So for example, we're going to call this in the back 2. That's stage 2. Stage 2, stage 2. And then just so we're clear, we can set stage 3 as these larger parts. Yeah, that's going to work. And then the tongue gets pushed inwards, and the sole gets pushed inwards as well. So we've got it all easily grouped. So now I just go through and isolate each one. So I don't need these images anymore. So I'm not going to work with them. Just make sure you remember that we're working with different stages of form. Okay. Shift Z to get rid of it, and then let's isolate all of these primary pieces. Group visible for that. Yes. Alright. If you saw that before and you were getting confused, my brain shut off and I polygrouped the wrong versions. So make sure that what you are polygrouping is this. Group visible. There you go. Alright, now I'm going to get these guys all lined up so that they're one group. Group visible. Whoops. Invert it. That's what I did before. Group visible. Well, Control Shift click. Okay, let's get the sole all as one polygroup. Okay, let's see, inside, do we need that? Well, we might. Okay, so that's going to, yeah, we do need that, good. That's the sole, group visible. Group visible again, I'm trying to change its color. There we go. And let's get these little pieces. And group visible. There we go. And then that's its own group, that's its own group. And these guys, group visible, and there we go. Last one is the tongue. Group visible. There we go. Alright, so at this stage, the shoe is all broken up. We've used slice curve, Okay, that was step number 2. Step number 1 is creating the mannequin. And by mannequin I mean the basic shape. Step 3 then is assign the groups. So we are going through and using visibility controls and assigning all of the groups into these very logical centers of action. And now step 4, we're going to go in and we're going to use inflate to inflate each one of these layers out to a different level. And we do this kind of methodically because of the way inflate works. So watch my workflow. Control Shift, click on all the polygroups that have to move. So that's all of them except for the body and the tongue. Okay, and then Control Shift, well, actually once we've isolated them like this, you can just Control click to mask, Control Shift click to show. So if I turn polyframe off, you can actually see what we're doing. You know, we've got this basic shoe form and we've got the pattern that we're working with all set up. Now I'm going to go into deformation, and this is where we start to inflate things. And what we want to do is inflate the first level. So the first level, let's turn perspective on. The first level is going to be these stripes down here, because they have to go into everything else, and they're layering on top of, or below I should say, the heel here. They're layering below the heel, they're layering above the strap where we're going to be putting our laces in, the rivets in, all of that. So what I'll do is go inflate, and I'm just going to put 10 in, you know, but you'll have to check to make sure that that's not too large. You also want to just take a look, you know, is it good to do it at this subdivision level? Let's turn matte cap gray on, and that doesn't look very pretty, right? So I'm going to undo this, and actually I'm going to clear the mask. Let's divide and divide again and check my polygon count. So I'll just hover my cursor over, okay, polyframe on, and I'm going to try that again, only this time I'm going to do it a slightly different way. Control Shift, there we go. Well, that's not going to work. Let's isolate everything we want to move. Okay, Control click to mask, Control Shift click to show, and now we can come in to deformation, and we can inflate the first layer, so 10. All right, not the cleanest line, but much cleaner than it was before. So that's a really good thing. And if we wanted a cleaner line, our low res could have been higher res, but that's fine. It's fine the way it is right now. And why don't I set this to 5? Yeah, I think 5 will work, or maybe 7. Yeah, 7 will work. All right, now I've got more to do, so I'm going to clear the mask. All right, I'm going to isolate the ones that I'm moving now. So there you go. Control click to mask, Control Shift click to show, and now I'm going to go into inflate, and let's set that to 10. Okay, so these are the next pieces to get inflated. And I think that's working out okay. So then the next pieces to get inflated going to be this bottom piece and anything else that I want to pull out farther. I kind of don't think there is anything. I think the bottom piece is the one I want. So Control click to mask, Control Shift click to show, and now let's go inflate and set that to 10. And with the heel, why not another 10? Let's just make that very clear. Okay. I've got one adjustment I need to make. So this piece in here is actually pushed inwards. So I'm going to isolate it, Control to mask, Control Shift to show, and then Control click to invert. And I'm going to undo what I did before. I'm going to actually go -20, which is too much. Let's go -10. I must have hit the wrong key. Careful, you don't want to do this in too many iterations. Yeah, there we go. And you may want to smooth out, because negative inflate does tend to create some sort of artifacting. But there we go. And now for the tongue, Control Shift click, Control click to mask, Control Shift click to show, Control click to invert, drag out your action line, use the center dot, and you don't even need to use the center actually. We can come up here and we're just going to rotate that inwards. And in fact, we can move this pivot point down so the tongue comes out at the top. Yeah. And there you go. And move the thing up into space. And we're on our way. There's cleanup to be done, you know, specifically right here, which is usually just a little bit of work with the move brush. And since it's a shoe, this kind of organic quality is going to work in our favor, especially once we get in and start adjusting the, putting the wrinkles in and things like that. But at this point, we've got a basic shape with layers and with form that we can go in and start to create even more detail for.